Welcome to another MECH 1000 video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do drawing 5-2, the flanged bushing. So this is going to use some of the commands we just learned in Chapter 5, like a polar array. It's a multi-view drawing. We've got a front and side view of the same object, so it's important to keep them aligned with each other. And we're going to start, I'm going to start with the front view and start by drawing some of the circles. So I'm going to start with a circle at the origin, 0, 0. And the flange has a diameter, so D, enter, of 3.5. The main hub has a diameter of 2, D2. The through hole has a diameter of 1. And there's a taper on the far side that, like a chamfer, that's going to show up on this front view as a hidden line, and it has a diameter of 1.5. So I'll just switch over to my hidden layer. As a reminder, you should be using your template that we created so you don't have to be recreating these layers every time. And this has a diameter of 1.5. Now the flange has a bolt circle. It has 8 holes that are equally spaced, and they're on a bolt circle that has a diameter of 2.75. Bolt circles are just imaginary circles that are used to locate holes. And so we're going to use the center line layer for that because it passes through the center of the holes. And so it has a diameter of 2.75. Okay, so those are all of the concentric circles. I suppose I can go ahead and, before I tackle the polar array, I can put a center mark on this outer flange. The size of the center mark will sort of depend on the size of the circle. So you want to choose the biggest circle to get the biggest center mark. There we go. And now I can start making one of the holes that I will use to make the polar array, one of those circles. Now this polar array has holes at the 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock positions, so I could start at any of those. I think I'm going to start up top, the top of the circle, at the 12 o'clock position. So I'm going to switch back to the 0 layer and draw a circle. So my grid snap isn't wanting to snap to any of those locations, so that tells me I need to adjust it. Let's go to snap settings. Right now it's set at 1/4 of an inch. I might need it to go down to 1/8 of an inch, 0.125. All right, and let's try that again. There we go. That's going to let me, now I have my object snap turned on, but I haven't really taught you guys how to use that yet. So with the grid snap, the snap mode, that will allow me to snap right to that point where the bolt circle and the center mark intersect each other. So I'm going to put the first hole there, and it has a diameter of 0.25. Okay, so now instead of drawing 7 more circles, I want to take this one circle that I've made and create a polar array from it. So I select array, I choose the object I want to array, I finish my selection, I choose the center point, and it creates an array. AutoCAD takes a guess at how many items I want, and it guessed 6, which is wrong. I want 8. I do want it to go all the way around. In other words, I do want the fill angle to be 360 degrees. So it goes all the way around, and I will leave it as associative. I'm pretty confident I don't need to make any changes, but you never know. So I'll just close that. All right, now I still need some center marks going through these circles that are at the 45-degree angle. And drawing them at the 45-degree angle, well, I guess that wouldn't be too hard. But I'm going to show you how to do it with a copy rotate, just so I can show you how to use a copy rotate. So I'm going to switch back to my center. I'm going to draw a line that passes vertically right through there. And I'm going to then select that line and rotate it. I'll just rotate this first one. I'll rotate it about the origin, 45 degrees. So it's important to recognize that you don't always have to draw everything in its final position. You can draw it elsewhere and then move it into place, as I did here with the rotate. Now I want 3 more of these, which I could do in a polar array, but I've already shown you how to do a polar array. So I think I'll do some copy rotate. So that begins with a rotate. I select the item, finish my selection, choose the center point, and I want to rotate it 45, 90 degrees. Whoops, I want to undo that because I forgot to copy it. So select from there, choose the center point, C for copy, enter 90, and that puts one down there. Now another tool I can show you to use, I could do another copy rotate, but since I've already shown you that, let's show you how I can duplicate these center marks with the mirror command. I'll choose mirror, I'll pick these 2 lines here, finish my selection, and then click 2 points along the mirror line and enter. So now I have this front view complete. I've got the bolt circle, I've got the center mark, I've got center lines passing through all 8 holes. I've got all the visible lines and a hidden line. So that view is completely done. So now I can come over to the right. This is a multi-view drawing with a front and side view. It's really important that the views align. So I want to make sure that the side view, the center of the side view, lines up with the center of the front view. I'll just go ahead and draw a center line that passes right through there. Now, I'm not really too concerned right now about the length of this line. If I need to stretch it out to be longer or shorter, I can do that. So the first part of this, the end of the hub, is 2 inches in diameter. So I could use some construction lines to come over from here. I guess I will do that. Bring one construction line over. I'll bring another construction line over, and then I'll connect those 2. And then I can delete the construction lines. The construction lines are just temporary things that help me locate things like the top and bottom of this hub. And I come over 1/2 inch, 0.5, and actually, you know what? I think I'm just going to draw the top half of this and then mirror it. I've shown you how to use the mirror command now, so we should probably start using that to our advantage. So I'll draw a construction line over here to help me locate the flange, and it has a width of 0.25. So come over 0.25, and I can come back down. Get rid of that. This I can bring straight down. So since I'm going to be mirroring all of this, I'll drag this line back up to here. or stretch it back up to there. So I can just do the top half. Okay. The next section of this, looking at the drawing, looks like I'm going to have to do a little bit of blueprint reading, a little bit of calculation. So I've got 3.25 minus 0.25 leaves me 3, minus 1 leaves me 2, minus 0.5, 1.5. So I've got to come over 1.5 inches, and then I'll come straight down to there. And then finally, I've got the end of the taper. Now I could theoretically use a chamfer, but in this case, I think I'm just going to draw a line straight over to there. I'll draw a line that comes straight over 1 inch, and then come straight down. And these are all just construction lines to help me locate this point so I can then draw the diagonal line at the angle I need. So once I've got that in place, I can delete that and just come straight down. Okay, I can switch over to my hidden layer and draw a line. This is the hole that passes through it. This is the bore that goes through the middle of the part. I'll just stretch that over. So I've got my center line, which ended up being too long. I'll stretch that back. Got the center line, I've got my visible lines, got my hidden line. That just leaves a couple flange holes here. So I'm just going to do the top one for now. And I can locate it again with let me switch to my center layer, with a construction line that goes from the center of this hole all the way over to here. And then I can use some hidden lines from the top of the hole and a hidden line from the bottom of the hole. Oops, didn't quite get it in the right place. There we go. Alright, and then I'll stretch these lines over. So again, remember that these hidden lines are describing physical parts, actual real parts. And so the hole ends where the edge of the part ends. So that's where the hidden line should end. I sometimes see students drawing hidden lines that extend out beyond the edges of the part, and that's incorrect. Hidden lines end where the edge of the object ends. It's the center lines that are imaginary. They don't really exist. They're the ones that can extend out beyond the edges of the part. So I've got all of this drawn. I think now's the time to mirror all of this about my center line. And see, it cut my work in half. I didn't have to draw this bottom half. I just mirrored it. And the last thing to do is to make a hole here. It's the same size as these other two holes, though. And since we now know how to use the copy command, we learned that, I think, in the last chapter, I'll highlight those two hidden lines and that center line, and I'll copy them up to here. Actually, I guess I didn't need to copy that center line. That's redundant. I already have a center line there. But now, I think this drawing is done. It always pays to double check. I'm going to look over and see that I've got everything. And yeah, it looks like I do. Maybe I might shorten up that center line a bit. It's kind of sticking out a little farther on the right than it was on the left. That kind of evens it up there. The centers are perfectly aligned with each other. I've got all the appropriate hidden lines, all the appropriate center lines. I think that's good. So I think we're done here. If you've got any questions, let your instructor know. Check your syllabus to see what other drawings are assigned in this chapter. Good luck.